Hi, powerful women. Hi, everyone. My name is Justina Kucharska, and I'm a relationship coach. I work with women who are ready and committed to create a loving, healthy, devoted, deeply committed relationship with the right men. Even if they have been struggling in the past for years, even if they have a disappointing and painful experiences, even if they've been with narcissists, even if they went through like painful cycles of usually 6 weeks of high intensity hot romance and then a few months of crying into the pillow. So I work with all of those women who are ready to change all of those patterns and heal all of those painful patterns into a healthy one so they can create a healthy relationship. Today I'm going to answer the question which is, which apps should I use when I'm looking for a relationship? And believe it or not, I'm asked this question actually a lot. So I decided to create video on that. So if you are wondering, you have the same question. Now, first of all, you're not alone. And two, this is not a stupid question. Does that make sense? Like, none of the questions with me when it comes to dating, relationship, sex, intimacy, love are not stupid. And I know a lot of women actually do that. And I invite all of my clients to bring every single question, from the big ones and very serious ones to a really smaller ones, really nuanced ones. Because if we don't pay attention to nuances, right, the devil, there's a saying like, devil is in detail. We actually need to be nuanced in our patterns, because the small patterns can create a lot of unnecessary drama. So and like we live in a funny society really, where we're supposed to know everything. And first of all, no one is teaching this at school, so if you don't know, of course it's not your fault. And two, everything is changing constantly. And even if we look at the society 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and now, how we are all changing, especially when it comes to relationships, especially when it comes to dating, especially when it comes to new people. Like even since lockdown, we are all mostly online, right? And we do have our natural instincts, but also our society, how we communicate, how we connect, how we are connected in the whole society is massively changing. So again, if you have this question, here you go. This is the video with the answer. So first of all, I know that apps can be really overwhelming, especially for women. And for me, I didn't want to go for apps for a long time. I didn't want to, because what happens for women sense through smell. So it's not really, they can't really sense a lot when it comes to app. Men are visual, so they can know if they like women or not by just a picture. With women, they cannot know if they like someone or not until they meet them. Now, so that's one thing. Second of all, when you don't know what you're doing as a woman, if you don't know what you're doing on the apps, it can be a really awful experience, a meat market experience. So I'm not even going into details of like how men can behave and how women can behave. So first of all, I'm not surprised that women are hesitant to go on the apps. And if you are hesitant, don't worry about it. This is normal as well. If you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be a horrible experience. But if you know what you are doing, it can be really great source of good connections, whether friendships, whether committed relationships. So the good side of apps, there is a good side of apps too, and this is what I actually like, that people are actually starting learning how to communicate with each other, as that makes sense, and how to connect before they will see each other in person, when the chemistry will kick in. Because so yes, the profile picture is important just to draw attention, but also communication. But actually the communication is the one which will make it or break it. Does that make sense? And in the past we didn't have to learn so much communication, because we were mostly finding the like the relationship partners in our social circles, in our communities, in our like the place where we live. And now when you're entering the apps and you have all this whole how to say choices, really the communication is a key. So, and people on apps are more honest. They're misbehaving more, by the way, but they're much more honest. And what I found that actually more women and men starting learning how to communicate more. And in the past it was on men to initiate and go towards women, so men would learn the communication more in the past, and women didn't have to do it. But now women have to learn to have a communication, to actually know what they want, know what they don't want, and to be able to communicate that. So apps, so there are good side of apps. You are actually can meet people you would never meet in the real life when you are only connected with the same circle of friends. So which apps to use? I will get to that, but before I just want to make a point here, okay? Because this is what I'm getting this question. When I get the question from women and men, usually women ask me, which app to use? I always hear the question behind the question. Does that make sense? Women speak on so many different levels, and usually the first question is not the question, and I want to address the behind the question thing before. So first of all, remember that behind the app there is a real human being. Does that make sense? And unfortunately, a lot of people treat apps like a app for delivery food. Does that make sense? Like a deliverer. The fact that people are on apps, and it's vulnerable to put yourself out there saying, I'm looking for someone. I mean, I think in the past, when I was younger, I was reading like the newspaper, like the, I don't know, weekly newspaper, like local newspapers. They often have some kind of advertisement that the wonderful lady is looking for the good man, or a good man is looking for a lovely lady. And that time I was not, I didn't really believe that this is working, but this is the same thing with apps. Like, you going on an app is already a vulnerable place to be, because you're putting yourself out there, being visible, being presentable, and saying, I want to meet someone. You're coming up with your desire. So the same you and the same everyone who is on the apps, they want something, they want to meet someone. Actually, even those people who are looking for a hookups, they're still, like, deep down, everyone is looking for that one person. So just know that on the other side of the profile in the app, there is a real human being, right? And that's for men and for women. So the fact that people are on apps doesn't mean that you enter your card details and it will be delivered to you in less than 30 minutes. So you can fulfill your hunger now. So again, finding the right apps is not a solution. Does that make sense? Humans are not an object. Humans are living, breathing, alive species. So if you add better features to the app, the feature of the app will not change human behaviors, it will not change human needs. By finding the right app, you will not magically have men behaving like you want them to behave. They're not robots. Like, men on apps are not Ken for a Barbie doll. Does that make sense? For women, for men too. I have to, if any man is watching here, for men too, women on the other side of the apps are not objects. They're not dolls to use them as a dolls. So that's the first thing I want to tell everyone who's using apps. App, even when it's we can use some tech and help us to connect better. App is only an app. Behind the app, there is a human being with human emotions, human behaviors, human needs, human desires, and human fears. Men created robot dolls who can the very intelligent robots, right? I think it was last year or 2 years or maybe 3 years ago. I even seen the interview Tony Robbins did with this highly intelligent doll, and that doll, the robot was in the news and different interviews, and really well spoken, highly intelligent robot. And how men programmed that the robot to speak the way they want to be treated by women. Very interesting, right? And this is not how real women are, actually. So men wants to be treated by women certain way, women wants to be treated by men certain way, and they try to get up who is exactly for their needs. So here you go. We do have differences. Women are not like from magazines, and men are not like from magazines. We have to strip off the expectations of expectations of what, you want to strip off the expectations of who you want to find on the app, even with the great pictures, even with the Photoshop with a great description. Is just the advertisement, is not the real person. So and we all know, women, how it feels like when men wants to treat us as a doll. Okay, I'm not a doll. I'm a real woman. And the same with men. Men are not Ken. Men are not Ken to match the Barbie lifestyle. With all of that intelligence and technology, and I love that, actually. The nature is actually, luckily, the nature is even more advanced than that, right? Even with the more advanced than the best intelligent technology, and if we follow the nature and the nature of who we are as a woman and nature of who men are as a men, then the love, relationship, commitment is natural and easy and organic. Sometimes I have women I just don't I want it to be organic and natural, and this is how it meant to be. Healthy love feels natural and organic, no more toxic. So no robot can give you love. You can't buy features of love. Humans are not robots. And even if they're on apps, they're not robots, they're still humans. So I will say that again, because actually this is coming up a lot. So you cannot buy love. You cannot put your credit card and make into the app, press the button, and have person behave as you want them to behave. You attract someone who is exact match to you. Even with the best apps, nature is still doing her own thing, and still you will be drawn by the magnetic field between man and a woman. How they can be drawn to each other. And this is what I'm actually mostly passionate when I work with women, doing that inner work which will actually attract the highest possible match for women. Not the lowest possible match, but the highest possible match. So yes, I do teach step by step how to use apps, because I think it's a really great source of opportunities where people are there for the reason to find someone, right? I teach women how to communicate on dates. I teach how to communicate on apps and on dates. Yes, I do teach how to overcome any conflict, misunderstanding, relationship conflicts, and how to maintain deeply satisfying, healthy relationship. But most importantly, I support women in transformation from confused girl messed around by men to a confident queen that men serves. The queen who knows what she wants, what she doesn't want, and who is graceful and treats men well. Does that make sense? So, you can have the best apps on the planet, but if you don't do inner stuff, it's not going to work. 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 And if you are like most of my clients, you know about the law of attraction. There is no way around it. Does that make sense? So the good news about the law of attraction is that when you get it right, you have it effortlessly. But if you're just struggling and trying to get best apps possible, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you did not if you were struggling with men in offline, in face to face, it's going to be the same thing on apps. Because no apps, people have the same behaviors. People don't change their behaviors. I have a friend who was on Raya, the celebrity app, only for invitation only, and also she spent thousands of pounds. It's the amounts of £6,000, £10,000 per month. I'm having some. Okay. So I have a friend who spent thousands of pounds to meet the right man, and unfortunately without any success, because I did talk to men who was an escort. He was headhunted to one of those matchmaking services to go on a dates with women. Because if the matchmaking services deliver men, then they get commission. So he was paid to go on the dates with women without even any intention to be in a relationship with them. Does that make sense? So it's really not about the right man in front of you. It's about your skills, relationship skills, inner skills. I'm teaching all of that, how to work inside and outside, which will create the relationship. Because relationship is not only one day. Relationship is we're talking about years. You cannot we're talking about years. So everyone have to learn relationship skills. Everyone have to learn communication skills. In the past, for men, it was enough that they have a job, and for women it was enough that they were pretty. But that's not enough anymore, okay? And now we have to actually learn how to communicate and how to be with the other person. So so again, I will talk about apps because I'm going to give you that, but I really want to set this up really well. Since the lockdown happened, most people are on apps. Most people, those who don't have relationship, they go on apps. So you can actually meet someone you would not meet in your social life. I do want to give you a compass because the apps, it's a jungle, okay? It's a whole jungle. If you don't know, and this is what I teach, relationships is a jungle. The relationship is a jungle. It's not a city. It's not a city with the rules where you have all of the signs, go this way. But it's a full of emotions, full of wild animals, a lot of different behaviors. Most people have some issues with relationships, let's be honest, and most people doesn't know how to negotiate in a healthy way. So it is a whole jungle. The only way through the jungle is to be able to listen to your compass, and this is how I also teach women. In the city, in the working place, in a professional way, you have rules. You have outside rules. You have outside like directions on the street to drive, right? But in the jungle, there is no signs. There is no streets. You actually have to connect, be able to use your inner compass to be able to find yourself in the jungle and where you're going. So this is, that was my battery. And so this is what I'm teaching women mostly. Now, so let's talk about, I give you a little bit of guidance for the apps. First of all of the apps are great, okay? All of the apps are great. I would say choose one app, maximum 2 apps. Don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of different apps. First, and choose the app which is most popular. If you are switching from app to app all the time and looking for the new app, you have a commitment issues. You cannot even commit to the one app. So practice commitment on the one app and stick with the one app. And like I said, I don't care which app. Choose the one you like it, choose the one you're drawn to it, and stick with one app, maximum 2 apps. What will happen with the app, the algorithm will start showing up your preferences. So at the beginning, you're going to see a lot of things you don't like. You're going to see a lot of unmatches, but swipe only those who are in your highest preferences. Does that make sense? So don't swipe those who are in your low preferences. Swipe only those who are in your higher preferences. So more of your preferences, the algorithm will bring more and more of your preferences, and then you will really have a lot of choice, if that makes sense. So also, there is a lot of different apps. Also, I would choose the most popular, and I would choose not paid ones. I mean, there is a lot of I'm just saying now, a lot of, because not having love in your life is a big pain. So there is a lot of created solution, lots of different apps. I would choose the most popular ones. Don't go to the fancy schmancy names and everything. I have one friend who went to the app for highly educated people because this was her preferences. And what she found out over there, that men are not so educated. Does that make sense? So anyone can join any app, and a lot of time men are breaking the rules because they wanted to be with educated women. So men are breaking rules. This is what they do. They don't even they break rules. So even if any app have some certain rules, again, use your compass rather than outside rules in that. Okay, so again, choose one app, wait for swipe only the ones who are your highest preferences, your best bet, and then wait for algorithm to start working for you rather than against you. And I'm going to name few like very popular ones. And again, I don't care which one. Any apps are good. I personally use Tinder because it's old-fashioned, and I'm pretty old-fashioned. I know some people talk about that this is for hookups. You know what? It depends of what you communicate. If you communicate, I'm looking for a relationship. This is the men will listen to that and will attract. I found relationship that way, but from the beginning I was really clear what I'm looking for. Does that make sense? If you don't say, you can get anything, and like you make them guess what you're looking for or not. So you have to be very, very, very clear what you are looking for, and from the beginning communicate that. Again, so Tinder is one of like very popular. What I like about popular apps is that because they are popular, more people is going there. There are a lot of like new apps which are paid ones. Not many people is there, but with the popular ones, at least if people use a lot of different apps, the popular apps will be where they are. And again, it doesn't matter which one. So again, so Happen, so Tinder, Inner Circle, and Happen, I found they're all pretty much similar. You can find all types of men there for hookups and for relationships. So you have to be very, very clear what is it what you want, and say no to what is it what you don't want. Straight away say, I don't feel comfortable. If you are approached for something that you don't want, you say no to it and practice saying no. No, I'm not going to have a casual sex without commitment. No, I'm not going to see someone for the first date after 10 p.m. No, I'm not going to what else? It's coming up usually like, no, I'm not I'm not going to send you naked pictures. No. Learn how to say no. Okay, so Tinder, Inner Circle, Happen. Match.com is also popular. I think it's more popular in America. I haven't been like, I think it's more popular in America than here. In UK, check it out, but it's popular. I did the research with all of the most popular apps. This is top 10. What I hear, Bumble. A lot of my clients use Bumble. I like, there are positive things about this app and negative, in my opinion. What I like about the Bumble is that it's very popular. There's a lot of like, if you are in your 30s, 20s, 30s, it's a very popular like for that range of age. And it's also bringing a lot of open-minded people, open-minded women and open-minded men. So they're much more open-minded for new. They're not super traditional. But again, you have to still communicate what is it what you want. So the thing I don't like about this app is that women have to make the first move, if that makes sense. And that a little bit distorts dynamic. If you want to be feminine and you're doing the first move, that a little bit distorts dynamic. However, because of that, women are more safe. They're not approached by all of those men with cock pictures and stuff like. So it's a safer for women, but actually switch the dynamic that women initiate. So if you just know that, and on the date, when you build the friendship, and on the date you can switch to your back to your feminine role, then I have no problem with that. Recently, one of my clients found her, actually after after 2 months of working with me, she found a relationship on Bumble actually, and she haven't had a relationship for over 10 years. So it's like again, everywhere you find the same men. Like, they will not change. They're not can that in this app you will have a man with a blue shirts, and this app you will have a man with a red shirts, and which one you prefer. Everywhere there would be the same man. And also another thing what I want to add is that you want to start building friendship on the app. Does that make sense? You don't want to give all of your personal details. Don't give any money. Don't give any of your personal details. You don't have to give anything. You want to build a friendship. So if you feel pressured, if you feel pushed to give money or give sex or give time, like, men can waste your time, men can waste your money, men can use your body, and you have to know your boundaries, okay? And this is again, this is something what I work with women on, to own your feminine power, but also have your boundaries and be able to communicate that. So again, you're going on the apps to start building friendship. And this is what I love actually about apps, because you build friendships before the whole chemistry kicks in. And you can learn you can learn if you can communicate, if you can be friends, even before the chemistry. So that's a good thing about apps. So the next app is eHarmony. eHarmony is more focused on committed relationship. I think the whole advertisement, it's all about committed relationships. It is a paid service. I'm not sure, some like a small payment monthly. Personally, I have not used it, but I do have friends who found the other half. Also, one of my clients who used this app, she found casual play and lover. So again, even if the most traditional app for a committed relationship, there are all type of people. It's a jungle. Just remember, it's a jungle, and the app will not make it more straight. You have to use your compass, and this is exactly what I'm working with women. There is okay, so there is also, for those who wants to have like a sex play and sex partners, especially unconventional, for like kink and BDSM, there is plenty of fish. And again, to play in that pond, you want to know that this is what you want. Like, this is for people who like that type of play. It's not for everyone, but it is for some, and you can find people who do that there. Again, if you're going there, you need to be very aware who you are, what your desires are, and what are your boundaries, because that's much more like it's a bigger jungle. it's a bigger jungle. So yeah, I think that's main ones. There's a lot of other apps, but those are the ones who I see, who my clients are using. And also, if I do any research for marketing researchers, I see those are top 10s, top in the most popular. I'm just wondering if there is an app for spiritual people. I've been on my spiritual journey for a long time, and I've done lots of different spiritual work, but I'm just thinking, I never thought about romantically, but I'm thinking, what would be a spiritual way for what would be a way for hookups for spiritual people? I guess this all happens on retreats and festivals and in ashrams in India. I mean, I have a client who when she signed up with me 2-3 years ago, she was like, I'm so desperate. The only thing I'm really contemplating to go to India or to sign up with you and finally face this relationship thing. Luckily, she was smart. She is smart. She actually is really, really smart woman. She signed up with me. She handled her relationship stuff, and now she's married and she's having a baby. And she didn't waste it another 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years of not facing the thing. I mean, I love yoga and I love spirituality, and I love retreats and going to India, but that will make a pause on your life. Does that make sense? That will make a pause on your relationship journey. So sometimes pause is 6 months, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 5 years. Like for me, it was 5 years. I went into spirituality and I paused the relationships, but I needed to figure out what's going on. Like I did not have the answers and I needed to research. So now I research. You don't have to waste your time. Okay. And I know a lot of this is what women do. Like they're so fed up and they're like, I need to go to India to ashram. And this is when they get romantic, spiritual and romantic needs met. You don't have to go to India. There are a lot of men everywhere, even here, even where you live. So, I think that's it I wanted to say about apps. So if you found this useful, do like it, share it, comment it. If you want me to answer any questions you have, do post in the comments. And also if you want to save yourself time, your precious life time, to be wandering and wasting time of being lonely and not being in loving, healthy and committed relationship, then if you like, that's really life, you know what I mean? Like our life is precious. And I really realized that when I had a near-death experience in my 20s, and I didn't value my life before. I started really valuing my life later, because I realized how our life is precious and how life without love is life not fully lived. So if you don't want to waste your time, if you want to live fully, if you want to have a deeply committed, loving relationship in less than, I would say 6 months, but a lot of time in 2-3 months, then book a call with me. Don't waste your time. Don't just go around and be lost in this whole jungle. There is a way, there is a fast way. You don't have to waste your time. So book the call with me. I will post the link below, and also I will post the names of different apps I mentioned in this video. And go out there, be visible, put yourself out there. But also, you don't have to put yourself out there for disappointment. If you need my help, I'm here. I can guide you step by step. I can hold you by the hand step by step from no even potential at all to a healthy, loving, deeply committed relationship. I'm Justina again. It's my pleasure talking to you and really bringing awareness to all people. That's my mission, to bring the awareness to people to come back to love, because this is the most important in our life. Our life is precious. Great talking to you. See you soon. Mwah.